thank everyone for being here this morning for the First Mining Gold presentation. We've got a lot to talk about. I only got 10 minutes. So we've got a new strategy, a new logo. We've changed our name, and I'm Jeff Swinoga. I'm the new CEO. Actually this week's my first week, but I'm extremely happy to be here. A little bit about my background. I've worked for many large companies, mid-tier companies, producers, developers. These include Barrick Gold, Hudbay Minerals, North American Palladium, and Torex Gold. So what I plan to do is kind of take this big company experience and use what I've learned and the best things I've taken into First Mining. So I've worked on a number of projects around the world. I've worked in Africa, South America, and Mexico, and a lot of unsafe places. So again, having First Mining Gold in mining-friendly jurisdictions is tremendous. People ask me what's attracting me to First Mining, and I give them 4 reasons. First reason is Keith Neumeyer. He's our chairman, tremendous individual. He's a company builder. He's the founder of First Quantum Minerals. He's also the founder and CEO of First Majestic Silver, and he's our chairman too. So tremendous individual. Second, as I mentioned before, mining-friendly jurisdictions. Third, First Mining has one of the largest and most diversified gold resources in Canada. The 4th reason, and I actually honestly believe this, that I think over time, as we advance our projects and start building out this company, we can actually become a very large gold producer in Canada, and one that we're very proud of. To show my commitment to the company, I'm taking my fair share salary. I'm investing in First Mining shares. Just yesterday, I bought 50,000 shares of First Mining. So here's a cautionary statement. I'll be making some forward-looking statements in this presentation. So why First Mining? Why is it attractive? So we're putting forth a very clear strategy. We call it the 3P strategy, a strategy where we can build a company. First, we're going to focus on people. We have a great management team, great board, good relations with First Nations and local communities, but we also want to go further. We want to have a culture that's value-based and purpose-led. We want to use good values in our decision-making and our communications. This will build long-term trust with First Nations, local communities, governments, employees, and investors. Places. Mining-friendly jurisdictions, Eastern Canada. It's a tremendous place to develop operations and develop assets. One of the best in the world. Projects. The company's got 8 projects, very large resource, 7 million ounces of measured and indicated, and 5 million of inferred. And within that, we've got SPRINGPOLE, the SPRINGPOLE project. We'll go through that in more detail. But it's our flagship, attractive economics, 4.7 million ounces of indicated, and we're looking forward to advancing that, and I'll show you some of the catalysts in a second. Here's the key personnel. I already talked about Keith. I'm really looking forward to working with Chris Osterman and Patrick Donnelly and the rest of the management team. People that you don't see on the slide, just to show the bench strength that we have. We've got 4 guys in Ontario that have over 30 years, 35 years each of advancing projects, either through environmental assessments, permitting, exploration, community relations. Combined expertise of about 135 years. And we're going to leverage that expertise as we start building out our projects. Corporate overview. Our market capitalization is about $300 million. We've got cash about 15 Canadian, and we've got very liquid shares. We trade about 2 million shares a day, and that's due to our very loyal following of retail interest. We have 2 analysts following the company as well. Here's a snapshot of Eastern Canada. You can see some of our we call them Tier 1 properties. We've got SPRINGPOLE, we've got Goldland, Cameron, Pickle Crow in Ontario, and then we've also got Hopebrook in Newfoundland. Here's a closer snapshot of just Ontario. And the unique thing about this, if you look at the properties, they're all within about a couple hundred kilometers of each other. And that's very unique. Great infrastructure, very prosperous area. In fact, if you look at SPRINGPOLE, it's 110 kilometers away from the Red Lake project, or Red Lake mine, that it's been a company maker for Gold Corp. If you look at Rainy River, New Gold's project, it's just south of our Cameron project. If you look at Treasury Metals, the Goliath project there, it's just south of Goldland. And maybe just a little bit on Goldland. Goldland's got about 600,000 ounces of indicated and about 1.8 million ounces of inferred. And what we've been doing is last year we drilled about 100 holes. 87 holes hit mineralization. We're going to drill another 40 holes this year. And the goal is to improve the confidence level on the inferred resources and show that hopefully in a new resource estimate, and then following that up with the PEA later on. So let's focus on SPRINGPOLE. As I mentioned, very large resource, great infrastructure. We've got a 70-person camp there. Power is close to us. Great relationships with First Nations, the local communities. I'll go through the economics in a second with the new PEA that came out in September. And we've got a number of catalysts for the first half of this year. I won't go through them all. I've only got so much time. But just maybe the first one, the project description. That's going to be submitted to the Canadian Environmental Assessment Agency. And the reason that's important is that will kickstart the environmental impact process. So, and then after that, permitting, and then ultimately that, hopefully construction and other development. So that's very important. So let's look at the economics. So very good economics. After-tax net present value of $800 million US. After-tax IRR of over 26%. 12-year mine life, paybacks 3.5 years. Capital cost initially is just under $600 million. Low strip ratio, very good cost profile, and it would look to generate on average about 300,000 ounces of gold per year. So, and it's very robust. So if this PEA was done at $1,300 gold, if we run the numbers at $1,000 gold, the IRR after tax is still 14%. So still very attractive. So from my large company experience, producers looking at this, they would want to accelerate this. We would want to build this. As you know, the hurdle rates are typically 10 to 15%. So this is a tremendous project for the company. Just a discussion about valuations. If we look at the net present value of SPRINGPOLE in Canadian dollars, and that's the bar that you see on the far part of the chart here. So if you look at that and you compare it to our market capitalization of $300 million, you can see that SPRINGPOLE is almost 3 times greater, actually more than 3 times greater than our market capitalization. And then if you add up the valuation of the rest of the projects that we have, you can see that the total valuation is $1.5 billion. That's 4.5 times more than our market cap. So the strategy, in order to we want to advance our projects, de-risk them, and you can see that from this metric, our valuation is low. And this will be a way to maximize value for our shareholders, to de-risk projects. Now, in summary, again, the 3 Ps for success: people, places, and projects. So we've got a great management team, a great chairman. We've got bench strength on the ground. We're going to be using a culture of values-based, purpose-led. Eastern Canada, one of the best places to do mining and do development. And projects. I mean, SPRINGPOLE, large resource, great economics. Goldland, drilling that out and improving the confidence on the inferred. And we've got a very liquid stock, and I'm very happy to be here. I think it's going to be a tremendous company. And if you have any questions, we've got a booth, so please come by. Most of our management team is there to answer any questions you have, but we're all very excited about the new strategy. So thank you.